Okay, guys, what's up? Back at you for another month. Welcome to March of 2021. Wow, we're 3 months into the year after 2020, and I heard a lot of people saying 2020, 2020. Well, I think it's going to be the 2020s that are going to go down in the annals. The 2020s, not just the year 2020. Hit the like button. If you're not subscribe. If you're not a member, make sure you get a channel membership. Those really help the channel. Plus, you can see content, exclusive content that everyone else doesn't get to see. I've been making a lot of that exclusive content available for everybody. But soon I'm going to start making some of this. Some of this content is going to have to go under the membership wall. So make sure you get your channel memberships. I think we got like 100 people. We want to get to 200. These liberals, I don't know what to say about them. They're so annoying. I mean, annoying isn't the word, but we're just irritating, annoying, aggravating. This one liberal writes on Twitter, I have two sisters that are Republicans, and I really don't even like talking to them. Does that make me a bad person? Yes, if you don't speak to your sisters. And this guy's grown. This is a grown man. I mean, he's in his 60s, his late 50s, 60s. And he's not speaking to his sisters over Joe Biden. Over someone who would probably sneak cop a feel on his granddaughter if he had the chance. He's not speaking to his sisters over that guy.
I think he's getting on a plane. He told me he came in to see me last event. And Representatives Shirley Jackson Lee, Al Green, Sylvia Garcia, Lizzie Pinelli, Pinell, and what am I doing here? I'm going to lose track here. And Mayor Turner, Judge Hidalgo, thank you all for welcoming us. And Jill and I wanted to visit Texas today for a couple of reasons. First and foremost,
yes, you're a horrible person. You're the worst person that ever walked the face of the earth. If you're not talking to your sisters because they voted for the guy who was running against that guy, you're a terrible person. You're a horrible person. And I don't want to hear this crap about I'm against Trump because Trump's a racist. Well, and he fostered an environment where black men were being killed by cops. And well, listen, brothers is still getting killed by cops. Done several videos about it. Several videos about it on this channel and my other channels. So make sure you subscribe to all of my channels. The links are in my description box. If you're not subscribed to all 4 of those channels that I've listed in the description box, you're missing out on tons of content. The only people that should ever ask me, you need to do a video on this, Arc Nation, are people that are subscribed to all 4 of my channels. If you're not subscribed to all 4 of my channels, do not ask me or tell me I need to do a video on something, because I've 9 times out of 10 already done a video on it. It's just not on this channel. I have to keep myself, let's just say, I have to keep a lot of irons in the fire. When you talk like I talk, you have to keep a lot of irons in the fire when you're on YouTube. Okay? So I have a lot of different irons in the fire. Okay? So Make sure you subscribe to all my channels so you can always see my content, and you can see the content that I don't post on this channel. So this guy, people had a lot of reactions to this guy's tweet. This one said, "I don't think severing ties with siblings over politics is the answer. As humans, we aren't designed to agree on everything. There's respectful disagreement versus righteous judgment. You may not like their political views, but take out the politics. Are they bad humans?" This one says, "I'd be okay with my sister being a Republican if she didn't think her opinion was the only one." Yeah, because, it's Republicans and conservatives that are the ones who, shut out all other opinions and think that their opinion is the only one. Because Republicans and conservatives, they run Hollywood, they run social media, and they run the mainstream media, right? Goes on to say, "Mine wrote me an ugly letter, disowning me since I do not support the former guy. It hurts that she will never speak to me again. I'll always love her, though." I'm pretty sure that you were the one that severed ties, Maggie. Woman goes on to say, "What I understand about everyone who voted for Trump." So she's going to tell you what she understands about everyone who voted for Trump in 2020. Okay? Just think about that. When they tell you that you think your opinion is the only one that matters. What I understand about everyone who voted for Trump in 2020 is that the only human lives of value to them are of people like themselves. But 20%, in some polls even say 25% of black men voted for Trump. Between 20 and 25% of black men voted for Trump. That's a higher percentage than black men that are in jail. Like literally, like 5 to 10% of black men are in jail. Way more black men voted for Trump than black men are in jail. So, do those black men only care about people who think about? Oh, yeah, it's only redneck, racist white people that voted for Trump. So she understands that everyone who voted for Trump is a redneck, racist white person. Okay, caging children, letting 500,000 people die for their freedom. And I'm tired of this crap where they're trying to make it seem like the pandemic is Trump's fault. Well, if the pandemic was Trump's fault, explain to me this. Why are people dying in other countries? If the pandemic is Trump's fault, how come the two epicenters of death in this country were New York and in California? Most notably New York City and Los Angeles. Both run by super, uber liberal, hyper liberal governors and mayors. Congressmen, senators, everybody in both those states are liberal to the max. The two most liberal states in the country accounted for 75% of the deaths. Both states where the governors and the politicians came out and called Trump a racist when he banned travel from China in February. Both states that make up 75% of the deaths from the pandemic in this country, all of the politicians in both of those states called Trump a racist when in February, before all the lockdowns and the shutdowns and the social distancing and the masks, before any of that, when Trump banned travel from China, where this pandemic originated, all of those politicians in both of those states called him racist, and both of those states became the ground zero for the pandemic here in this country.
You did say a few days ago, though, you did have a sense that this was a pandemic that was coming. So why was the United States not prepared with more testing?
We were very prepared. The only thing we weren't prepared for was the media. The media has not treated it fairly. I'll tell you how prepared I was. I called for a ban from people coming in from China long before anybody thought it was. In fact, it was your network. I believe they called me a racist because I did that. It was many of the people in the room. They called me racist and other words because I did that, because I went so early. So when you say we weren't prepared, had I let these tens of thousands of people come in from China a day, we would have had something right now that would have been, you wouldn't have even recognized it compared to where we are. How many people have passed away? How many people have died as of this moment? You could multiply that by a factor of many, many, many. So when you say that I wasn't prepared, I was the first one to do the ban. Now other countries are following what I did. But the media doesn't acknowledge that. They know it's true. They know it's true, but they don't want to write about it. Yeah, go ahead.
So yeah, that I'm not real big fan of that whole narrative that, you know, we wouldn't have had a pandemic if we had a different president. Because he actually tried to nip it in the bud, but they called him a racist. And then, you know, things happened and people started breathing on each other and people started getting sick, and I don't see what he could have done about that. I don't see what he could have done to stop people from getting sick during a pandemic. Maybe it's not a pandemic. If something the president could have done could have stopped people from getting sick and dying, then let's stop calling it a pandemic. So she goes on to say, I don't even know how to talk to them. So this white liberal woman who would never say anything remotely negative about a black Democrat or a black liberal, who inwardly despises black people. I mean, these white liberals, they despise black people. They hate them. They just use them for props. This woman would not care if George Floyd died in a year that had an odd number year. She would only care about George Floyd if he died in an even number year. This woman who despises black people, but because she's a liberal, black women call her an ally. She gets on there and says, Dave Chappelle has some very important to say about Candace Owens.
Candace Owens, that rotten bitch. She's the worst. I can't think of a worse way to make money. She's the most articulate idiot I've ever seen in my fucking life. She's so articulate, she can tell you how fucking stupid she is precisely. She told George Floyd's rap record on the internet, oh, he was this, he did that, and he's a drug addict, and he's not a hero, and why does the black community make him a hero? Why do you choose him as a hero? We didn't choose him, you did. They killed him, and that wasn't right, so he's the guy.
This woman cares so much about black men being murdered by police and how they're portrayed posthumously that she had to put a video of a not so funny anymore black comedian. Dave Chappelle's really lost his fastball, but I think he can get it back if he, you know, drops the woke act. He's a very funny guy. The woke stuff is just not funny, but so she feels like she can, you know, through David Chappelle, call a black woman everything but a child of God. And he went on and on to talk about the way her private parts smelled, and he had a long rant about how her private parts smelled, where if this white feminist, I couldn't play that, but this white feminist would not really like it too much if someone talked about the way a black liberal woman's private parts smelled for 10 minutes on a comedy show. She'd be calling for that guy to be canceled, and she'd be losing her head. But since it's a black conservative woman, she posts clips from that comedy special where the guy was talking about how bad the black woman's private parts smelled. The black man who's married to an Asian woman. But whatever. This is something that white women do. They're not too fond of black women. They're actually annoyed by black women, constantly talking about how they saved the country and how they saved the democracy. And, you know, you guys started the Me Too movement, and white women had to, you know, take that from you, had to jack that from you, push you to the side. You know, they're not really friends. They don't really like you like that. But they can't say anything about the ones of you guys that are liberals because they'll lose their jobs and they'll be canceled. They take that all out on the ones of you, the Candace Owens, the Diamonds and Silks, and the ones who are on the other side. But she's getting a little pushback. She didn't get what she expected. People in her comment section, like this guy says, the hero is the black woman who got an education and made something of herself, not the drug addict who died resisting police. So she wasn't really, expecting all of that. This guy says, how terrible that a black woman can think for herself and doesn't need to follow identity politics. So she wasn't she thought she was going to get a round of applause because, you know, I'm on here dragging this, I'm showing clips of people talking about this black woman's smell between her legs and how dumb she is and her lack of intelligence. But she's a Republican, so everybody give me a pat on the back. And that's not really what happened. This guy says, it's a very bad video of him. Something I'm sure most people wouldn't like. He seems to lack a vocabulary. Speaking of David Chappelle, they're talking about David Chappelle. I doubt he'd ever have the balls to debate Candace Owens face to face. So not to impress with the video, anyone can get on stage and talk crap about someone. It's not hard. This one says, Chappelle was drunk or high when he said this. Sad. So this white woman, she thought she was going to get a pat on the back. She just knew, like, hey, y'all, look, I'm dragging this black conservative woman. Talking about her lack of intelligence through David Chappelle and, you know, how her body parts smell. You know, down there, her nether regions. Give me a pat on the back. And it just didn't work out for her. And to you liberal white women, I get it. That's a good way to, but you don't have the Trump's not in office right now. So it's going to be, when you're dragging black women, talking about their lack of intelligence and the way their nether regions smell, you know, when you're using clips of a black man married to an Asian woman, when you're using clips of a black man who's married to an Asian woman to, you know, talk about how black women smell down there and how they are stupid and stuff. You might want to do that when there's a Republican president because the temperatures calm down immensely. They don't even protest when a brother gets shot by a cop. Brother was jaywalking the other day. The cops came over and tackled him. Then shot him in broad daylight, 12 noon on a sunny day in Los Angeles. A busy intersection. And you ain't heard a peep about it. So the temperature's down a lot. So, because Biden's in office. So, I would love to see this woman, this blue check liberal. I mean, she's not a blue check. I guess she's looking for her blue check. She's not quite a blue check yet. Now, she's not a blue check, but I'd love to see a hippie lawyer. She calls herself a hippie lawyer from Chicago. Oh my God, she lives in Chicago. Oh my God. And make sure you join us for the nightly news. If you're not subscribed to Living Room Gangster, you're missing my live streams. We go city to city. We did Chicago last night. Oh my God. The carjacking and murder capital of the United States. Where white people, like, now that they're the crime, the element, now it's getting a little sketchy up in their parts of town. Oh my God. They're not happy. They're leaving Chicago in droves. But wow, this woman lives in Chicago. Yikes. So he definitely hates black people. If you're a liberal person and you live in Chicago, you secretly hate black people. You have to. Now that the crime is not just in Austin and Inglewood and Garfield Park, now that the crime has come down to Michigan Avenue, the Gold Coast, oh my God. If you're a liberal person, because you're being targeted. Just watch the news in Chicago. Women like her, she's a target. She's food. She hates black people. And I don't know if I can blame her. But she does. But I would love to see this woman talk about a black woman who's a liberal black woman. Hit one if you think she's got the guts to talk about a liberal black woman. Or use a comedy skit from a comedian talking about a liberal black woman's smell, personal hygiene smell, and her lack of intelligence.
All right.